Hey everyone! Welcome back. I am back today with the season finale of Mob Psycho 100. You guys, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. If you're joining me early today, you already know what it means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so much, and as always, I'm sending you up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in the description down below. So we have all the pieces in place now to commence with this very epic final boss battle. Last episode we had some great stuff with Mob kind of using his talk no jutsu on Serizawa, who was like the last mini boss he had to defeat before moving on to the head honcho. I loved his backstory, and I find it really interesting that they have set up Mob, and I believe the big boss's name is Sho, but you know, the claw boss, if I'm not getting that right. I love how they've set them up to be very similar in their power. Maybe not exactly the same levels or exactly the same way of using it, but you know, the psychic power element is not that dissimilar, but they are so completely opposed on their worldviews, because, you know, we have this scene where the plant guy comes in to help Serizawa. Eventually Mob gets through to him and he helps, and we have the boss kind of being like, oh wow, everyone's turning on me. It's like, dude, you've been completely against making any bonds in your life, and like when you don't care about anyone, like that's, you kind of reap what you sow. And here we have Mob, who, you know, when we started off with him, had a very difficult time kind of relating in the world and getting along in the world. But through meeting different kinds of people and connecting with them and making friends and everything and getting closer to the people around him, he has developed not only his own means of self-expression and the way that he thinks about the world, but he's, you know, developed these bonds that, like, all these people are now in his corner. And that's, I feel like that's been a real running theme throughout the season, is like having bonds and having people that you can rely on. So the boss is just like totally against it. It's like, of course, yeah, like your people are going to turn on you. Fear and power will only go so far. It won't win you complete loyalty and devotion, which I think is what he was after. Obviously, he's after like world domination, and you know, you're just not going to get that level of loyalty with only fear. And we saw that like Serizawa was loyal to him to a degree, but only out of like, he was being manipulated. You know, it wasn't true camaraderie, which Mob was able to show him. So I really liked that. I love that Mob was able to completely get around, you know, the final mini boss in a peaceful way. You know, there was no fighting necessary, and I think that really says a lot for the way that Mob sees things. We know he would much prefer peaceful means to anything else. That being said, now that everyone's kind of out of the way and he's got the boss alone, he has gone to 100% rage. And he tried to talk with the boss, and just someone who has been trying to cut themselves off from feeling an emotion for so long, it's going to take more than that. So he was kind of like, yeah, the time for talking is done now. It's about time to jump in and start kicking some butt. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if there's going to be a season 3, so I really couldn't tell you how I think this boss battle is going to end. I do know we have an OVA after this as well, which I'm going to be checking out. So I don't know if maybe that will provide a little insight, or if maybe not. It might take place at like a totally different time. But if you have any info on when season 3 is coming out, let me know, because I'm sure I'll be dying to see it after this. So, without further ado, what do you say we jump in? And I just can't believe I'm about to wrap up Mob Psycho for now. It's so crazy, but let's go ahead. Let's get started. Season finale. Let's go. Oh my goodness, that was such a much nicer end to the season than I thought we were going to get. I honestly wasn't sure when we started off with that giant battle. I really wasn't sure if maybe they were going to do something drastic or leave it on a cliffhanger, or, you know, have some kind of like shocking twist. But I like that they kept with the tone of the show and didn't try to do anything dark or dramatic, which is why I was so taken aback a few episodes back with the whole like family thing. I was like, no, this is not that show. Absolutely not. And I'm really glad that they kept in that tone, and that while we had a lot of great development in a lot of ways, they didn't try to do anything drastic like a cliffhanger or killing anyone off or making us wonder if Mob had made it out alive and making us wait till like the next season or something, or, you know, just doing something kind of dark and dramatic. The issues that we deal with on the show are heavy enough and dramatic enough that we don't need to throw that in there. I feel like that's my personal opinion. I really, I wanted to say this during the episode, but I really feel like, you can quite clearly read the metaphors here for the way that the boss, I guess both their names were Sho. He must have been named after his dad or something. I don't know. But the boss, had kind of shirked any kind of human connection, and had kind of had suffered a pain and loss with his family, with his wife, and severing that connection, and kind of growing apart from his son. And you know, instead of trying to handle that, you know, we've seen Mob deal with some stuff, you know, maybe not something quite that big, but he's definitely dealt with a lot of heavy occurrences, just trying to kind of get through middle school life. And you can see how he's actively begun trying to process his emotions in a way that's a little bit more balanced. When we first met him, the balance was very off, and he just processed things in a very kind of black and white way. And while his mind still works that way to a degree, you can see how getting to know different kinds of people and learning that the world isn't all one or the other has influenced the way that, you know, he processes his emotion now. And it was really interesting to watch the boss, who just kind of had decided to lean into that, like, all or nothing kind of, okay, I need no people, people are dumb, the world revolves around me, and had kind of pushed down everything into this plan to gain ultimate power. And in the end, it was his power that destroyed him. Literally. They took that kind of metaphor and put like an actual visual to it of him just about to basically go nuclear. And ultimately, I was really shocked that he regained control and he was able to, I thought maybe he really was too far gone, but in the end, he really was able to retain some kind of control enough to tell Mob, like, this is what I get, kind of, you know, like, I went too far and you should get out. And Mob was like, no, I might not like you. I might not, you know, this might not have turned out the way I planned, but it wouldn't be right to leave you here. And Mob absorbed. I really am shocked that there's no repercussions to him absorbing that. I really thought maybe he was gonna wake up, and when he said, like, this feels weird and squishy, and how is the the city's still all right. I'm like, oh God, don't tell me like they're inside Mob's head or something, you know, like he never really woke up. I don't know, like something crazy like that. But no, it was just a really, really, really nice callback to the broccoli seeds from, I think it was like the first or second episode of the season. They got paid in like broccoli seeds or something. And now they just have a giant broccoli in the middle of their town. It is called Seasoning City. So, I mean, you know, season that broccoli up a little bit. Gonna have a good side perhaps to your meal. Really, really nice callback there. That was fun. And I really enjoyed that the ending tone was fun. And like I said, they didn't try to do anything too crazy. The fight was epic. The fight was really gorgeous to watch. I would love to go back and watch it again just because the visuals were so well done and going so quickly. I bet there's a lot of rewatchability for that fight scene. I kind of noticed the way like the boss was on fire and Mob was in the water, and I'm like, oh, that's bad. That's clever. They're saying something there with that. So I bet that would have some good rewatchability, but I'm very proud of Mob. He's come so far. And even when he did give into his rage, it was all the work he's done for the last 2 seasons that was able to bring him back. You know, we're all going to be a little bit at one time or another a slave to our emotions for a little bit, you know, like everyone has them. It's going to happen. You're going to explode, but it's how you recover from it, I think, that counts. And we saw here that Mob was able to recover from it because of the bonds he had made. And ultimately, even the boss, like, when he said he had been working at this for like 20 years, I'm like, has this guy just been kind of like out of touch with people his whole life? Is the kid like even really his kid, or is it a clone or something? Like, I can't picture him having had a family or anything. But we learned, like, he actually did. He had a family and everything. And at one time, I guess, was at least a little bit more in touch with reality and other people. And I love that in the end, like, that it's never too late, you know? Like, there's always hope. Even if you've made some really big mistakes, you can always move forward and try to do better with your life and try again to reconnect with people. Wonderful, wonderful message just throughout this whole series. I really loved it. Obviously, Mob is ultimate best boy. I've become so attached to him. I became so much more attached to the other characters than I thought I would too. I thought the supporting characters in this arc in particular were great. I really enjoyed everything we got with like the little mini bosses and bringing back the Scar people from Claw that we saw last season, and I've just become so attached now to Dimple and Reagan, and I've really come to enjoy Teru and Ritsu as well. It feels like we've been through a lot with all of them, which is funny when you consider, you know, these 2 seasons were very short, but they really made the most of the time that they had, and did a good job of fitting the story and all the character development in there. So I loved it. I enjoyed it so much, you guys. I'm so glad I got to watch this series. I do have an OVA to watch after this, but that is it for the big stuff for both seasons. So I don't know when season 3 is coming out, but let's hope soon. Or even if there will be a season 3, I have no clue. I haven't looked into it at all. But it's been an amazing journey, and I've really, really enjoyed it, guys. So once again, your recommendations have not failed me. They have been super successful. I've loved it. I hope you enjoyed watching it along with me. Thank you so much for joining me today and for this series. I hope you'll join me for the OVA and for the series, which I will watch next, which actually, as I say this, my poll is still going on, so I don't know what I'm going to be watching next, but I will get those details to you soon. Thank you again for joining me. Please be sure to join me next time, and we will watch it together. Bye for now, guys.